I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another paid request, this time for Gunnel, and it's for the Tuskegee Airmen from 1995. Now, if anyone's ever interested in requesting any other type of videos, reviews, re-reviews, topics, reactions, movies, games, news, pretty much anything, feel free to request it. You just send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box, and I promise I'll get to it as soon as I can. Now, the Tuskegee Airmen, overall I liked, mainly for the cast. Also, it does bring to light an important part of history, in World War II history, where they had this experiment of, they're not sure if African American women, they think of them as subpar, or they think of them as, well, you women, well, you this and that, you're not, stuff that gets you pissed off. Because these are men that fought and died for the country. These are men who wanted to serve, and they got looked down upon because of bullshit reasons. These are men that care for each other, care for the country, and they get spit on and discriminated, and you're supposed to be pissed. You should be angry. And I thought it was done better here than a movie nowadays, because I don't know, just what it's done back then, it serves the story, while a movie, if it did today, it's more message, or it's more I'm offended than having a story. This one, it's telling a story. Granted, a more fictional story based on the men, which I would have liked to see more of a true to life documentation, because Laurence Fishburne is based on a real person. I think the other characters are not, for the most part. I could be wrong on that. And this was made for HBO, it's a TV movie, so it doesn't have as big of a scope as it could have. I know there's a film called Red Tails, but that's more of a CGI-driven big action film that George Lucas had a hand in. And this one, between the two, seems like it has the better acting and the better drama to it. But yeah, it's based on real events, but it does follow a bit more of a fictional story. Again, I kind of wish they went a bit more for real. But there are instances in there, from what I understand, that did happen. But it's just the bullshit that they went through. And when I mentioned the cast, you got Laurence Fishburne, you got Cuba Gooding Jr., you have Andre Braugher, you have Courtney B. Vance, who I remember from I See You with Stallone, Hamburger Hill, Malcolm-Jamal Warner from The Cosby Show. You have Mekhi Phifer John Lithgow makes an appearance as this asshole politician. He's in about 2 or 3 scenes. Yeah, about 3 scenes. Christopher McDonald, the bad guy from Happy Gilmore, he plays a real piece of shit major. Racist major. And like I said, it's these men going in. Funny enough, Laurence Fishburne is from Iowa, or that's where I'm from. I think the real character, the real person, was from Iowa, which is interesting. But yeah, the discrimination they go through, and the people training them, you either have the asshole Christopher McDonald or Courtney B. Vance, who's much more rooting for them. As Courtney B. Vance says, you just heard 2 different speeches from 2 very different officers. I hope you were paying attention. And going to the film, I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I do wish it was a bit more of what it was more so like in real life, instead of a bit more of a fictional story. They figured they wanted to create a story based on these events. I guess I thought it'd be more about them in the war than before they got to that point. Because half the film is in sort of the preparation. In fact, half the characters die before they get to the war, which is... maybe that did happen in real life. I don't know. Just for example, Mekhi Phifer, they're training in a plane, it stalls, that crashes. And then one person, he's hot dogging around, they don't like that he's showing off, they kick him out. He's like, please let me stay. Oh, tough shit. Well, he steals a plane, and because he doesn't want to go back and into the world as, in his mind, a loser, in his mind, a failure, he commits suicide by kamikaze. Now, I don't know if this stuff happened in real life, or this is just trying to be a bit over dramatic. I don't know. If it did, that's very sad. If not, basically, why did they go in that direction? Like I said, I'm not for certain. But I guess it's to show that there's the trials and tribulations men went through even before actually getting to the war and dealing with the enemy. I guess that's the point, is to really hone in the fact of the discrimination and being pushed. But even a fictional account is not satisfying, because Christopher McDonald, he never gets punished for it. He never gets fired. He never gets anything. But again, maybe that's because it's more true to real life. That why would he? So it does seem as if, it sounds stupid, this seems like this movie was a longer film, but it was cut down. I guess there's just moments where it just seemed like it would be a longer film. It'd be a longer picture, where I just felt like certain events seemed like it would be longer, like this was a truncated cut. I'm not sure how to explain it. I mean, I don't think there's a longer cut of this. It just felt like we're in a scene, and then, oh, well, that scene's over already? Like, that section of the story's over already? But like I said, the cast do their jobs well. Like Laurence Fishburne, when he's talking to Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who's unsure about this, ready to quit. And Laurence Fishburne gives him this pep talk. And he's a good actor and really showed a lot of conviction and emotion in this performance. And also it was nice to see Fishburne, because usually when you see him in a film, he has that intensity, like cool factor. And this is a bit more of an innocent Fishburne performance. A little bit of a wondrous, just loving, wanting to be part of, wanting to be a pilot. Kind of a different kind of role for for Laurence Fishburne. It's not to be cool, which he does well in that too, but anyway, it was nice to see again a little bit different Fishburne performance. And some people may feel the dialogue is ham-fisted. I liked quite a bit of the dialogue. Like, friends die in our business. And the only protection you have, and not losing one, is not to have any. Or when Andre Braugher is in a courtroom defending his men, how do I feel about my country and how does my country feel about me? Are we only to be Americans when the mood suits you? That's the line I'm thinking of. Are we only Americans when the mood suits you? Like, you'll cheer us when we're in sports, you'll cheer us when you're doing this and that. But again, I like that. It's a strong statement. And sadly it's true. Are we Americans only when the mood suits you? Because, remember back in this day, there were people who were African American who were in sport-related competition with Hitler's men. And guess who won? As a person would say, guess who won the pony? The lesser group. No, they beat the ass and they'll beat your ass. And that's the point of the film, is that you do feel the anger and the complete utter bullshit that these men went through just to serve their country. When they do the attack scenes, you can tell the budget was limited because it seems like they use a lot of stock footage. Like, you see them flying, then cuts to rougher footage because it's stock footage from either real war footage and such. So it's such that they didn't have the budget. I know this is a weird comparison, but like Top Gun. You think of Top Gun, you think of the really well done airplane sequences, and there, with this cast and with some of this really nice dialogue, you do wish that it had a bigger budget to have the really full force action fighter, the pilot, those dogfight sequences that to really bring it to fruition. But it's a made for HBO movie. So you're not going to get that high-end action stuff on a technical note. You're just not. You're just not. I think it had like an $8 million budget, but that's probably went into making it look like World War II with the costumes, when they're on the ground and the planes in the background. But there's only so much you can do. I do like the bit. I believe this is based on, forgive me if this is not true, but I believe this is based on reality, where Eleanor Roosevelt came by. She said, "I'd like to ride one of your planes." And the other guy's like, "Ride on mine." "I like to ride in that gentleman's plane." And it's Laurence Fishburne. But that's what I'm talking about, where it seemed as if it would be longer. Because I'm thinking, okay, she's in the plane. Now we're going to see the takeoff. And then we're going to see how is she reacting in the plane. And does she have some words for Laurence Fishburne? Some bits of dialogue while they're flying around. Or maybe she's asking him questions on her reaction. But no. She gets in the plane. Boom, it cuts. And that's just the way it is. But it does bring up some interesting dialogue. Why would you want to fly for a country who thanks you by lynching you? And it's a good question. And Fishburne, one of the reasons he gives is also, to show other people who happen to be black that they can do it. Because there's a scene where much earlier their plane is malfunctioning, they land by a chain gang, and some people in the chain gang happen to be black. And they're like, oh my god, It's one person, this is what they say, there's colored flyers. And again, maybe labeled ham-fisted by some, but the message, the heart is in the right place. So like I said, it would have been nice if they had more of a budget to shoot more of the dogfight sequences instead of having to rely on stock footage. I don't think it has the best flow. Does it seem like certain scenes should be longer, or certain ideas should be expanded upon? I did not think there would be a lot of the training before going to the war. I thought, okay, maybe 20 minutes of that, but then all the avenues, like it says at the end, oh well, they never lost a bomber. I thought we were going to see a lot more of that, of them protecting the bombers and the various missions. You see a little bit, but I did not as much as I thought it would be, I guess. So, I mean, made for HBO movie, not a bad flick. Like I said, at the very least, it shows a spotlight on American history that deserves to be shown, and the cast does a fairly good job, especially Laurence Fishburne and Cuba Gooding Jr. I really like Courtney B. Vance in this as well. I really liked him. But all the cast did a good job. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.